I'm guaranteed.
What's the question?
I wrote, Brew, are you still willing to guarantee Mahomes wins another Super Bowl?
Yeah. Well, my original quote, and I'll let you go quickly, Nick. My original quote yesterday that Wiles went ballistic over was, I cannot fathom, this is a direct quote, I cannot fathom Patrick Mahomes not winning another Super Bowl in the next 10 years, like Tom Brady did. And you went off on me, so you challenged me to guarantee that he'll win another Super Bowl in the next 10 years, and I am guaranteeing it 10 toes down.
All right. So here was what was so wild about Wild's, everything about it, to be honest. And it's not just you, and I'm finding out right now if I can quote who this is from, but one of the most respected NFL writers ever just text me.
Oh, me and this guy.
I'll say one thing. No, it goes against you.
Oh, shoot.
Chiefs are 49-12 in the last 3 years with 2 Super Bowl wins and 3 conference championships. Now they stinks and Mahomes stinks. America's something else. Signed, your favorite football writer.
That is.
Hold on.
Wish you hadn't read that and put me into that.
I'm not putting you into that. You haven't even. That was before the segment. That was in response, I think, to my hurt hit today.
Okay.
Like whatever, you know what I mean? It was before anything. I'm not trying to put you into any bucket, but yesterday, you out of nowhere argued it's very reasonable to believe Patrick Mahomes never wins another Super Bowl. Because that's what this means.
Yes.
Yes. Right, exactly. And I would say that is, as Brew put it, unfathomable. The guys who won early and not late, it's very distinct, right? There's a half dozen guys who just weren't that good. Hostetler, McMahon, Flacco, Rippon, Foles, Dilfer. Can we agree Patrick Mahomes is not in that category? Is that fair? Okay. The guys who are good but not all-time greats is Greasy, Namath, and Russ. Maybe Russ will be. Those guys won early and not late. And then there's 4 guys, who won early and never again. Aaron Rodgers, Big Ben, Brett Favre, and Troy Aikman. Troy, I put a little asterisk on because he had concussions all throughout, and Mahomes has no history of that. And then the guys who won early and late, they all share something in common with Patrick Mahomes. Played their best in the Super Bowl, or in the playoffs, and they all 4 of them share this in common with him. They're legends. Eli, not the legend. Montana, Staubach, Bradshaw, and Brady. So there is a lot of comp, in fact, almost a half dozen, of guys doing what Patrick's trying to do, and there is no comp for a guy being this good this early for this long. No one's ever been it. The guy who had the drought, Tom Brady, if we show it, here's what his career looked like prior to the drought. Here's what Patrick's looked like. So Patrick has the better record, the better playoff record, more MVPs, same Super Bowl wins, more Super Bowl appearances, 0 years where they had either one and done or missed the playoffs. Almost double the touchdowns, better rating. So to say it happened to Brady because of the quarterback Brady turned into is to me totally irrelevant because it is not at all the quarterback Brady was when it was happening to him. Right. And it's who the quarterback Patrick already is. And the reason I found it ridiculous was before the game, what would you have set Mahomes' future Super Bowls at? Because we talked about it and we set it around 3. So playing poorly in one game made you and the rest of America, a lot of them, feel that he's likely to win 3 more to now he's likely to win 0 more.
I just did the math on it. I'm not willing to guarantee that he doesn't win a Super Bowl, but I certainly could fathom it considering it happened to Tom Brady. So this is how I gave my rationale, and then I'll throw it to Greg, who was a great player and won a Super Bowl with a great quarterback once. So this is who I gave. I gave 3 coaches, independent of their teams, and a Super Bowl in the next 10 years. I gave 1 to McVay, I gave 1 to Shanahan, and I gave 1 to Dan Campbell. If you want to switch out some coaches, sure, but that's 3 right there. Then I gave a Super Bowl to 5 quarterbacks. I gave 1 to Josh, I gave 1 to Lamar, I gave 1 to Burrow, I gave 1 to CJ, and I gave 1 to Jaden. Okay.
So can I ask a question?
Hold on, just let me go through it, and then I'll go. So that's 8. So now, maybe you disagree, but switch out however you want. But this is how my brain is working. So I've got 8 right there. This leaves 2 Super Bowls for Mahomes and the Jalen Hurts. So those the Packers and J-Lo, Mike Tomlin, Sean Payton, Herbert and Harbaugh, the entire NFC South, Caleb, who you had going to the Super Bowl in his rookie year, Drake May and the Patriots, who are institutional excellence, Trevor Lawrence, who I've heard is excellent, Kevin O'Connell, who is the coach of the reigning coach of the year, the entire draft class for the next 10 years. I don't think that's ridiculous.
No, but here's the ridiculous part. The ridiculous part is just assigning 1, 2, 3 coaches and not including Andy Reid. And the ridiculous part
I also didn't put Sirianni in there. I just took them both out.
No. But because Sirianni is not, who's the best coach in football?
Andy Reid is
who's the best quarterback in football?
Patrick Mahomes right now.
So
and they were just in the Super Bowl.
When you're doing the math on, I'm comfortable saying Sean McVay's going to win one in the next 10 years, but I'm not comfortable saying Andy Reid will.
I'm saying you can switch them out, but you can swap anybody in there you
Josh,
want.
Lamar, I forget who the rest of your list was.
Joe Burrow
are all winning. Why you would be comfortable with any individual one of them rather than Patrick is to me illogical.
Okay, so here's why. So I'll show you why. Because I said, I understand the argument, and then Greg, I'll throw it to you. And I asked Josh, I'm like, hey, Brady went 9 years in between Super Bowls. And how long did Peyton go, Josh? 8? 8 years in a Super Bowl drought. And they were still excellent, just like Mahomes was going to be excellent. They won at 78% of their games. They had 5 MVPs. Their playoff record was up and down. They went to 2 Super Bowls, but lost. So if it happened to 2 of these who are the best 2 quarterbacks who went through Rodgers, it can certainly happen to Mahomes, especially, and this is the final thing I'll say, I'll throw it to Greg, Tom Brady really benefited from incompetence and the instability of the AFC East. The AFC West is now becoming more stable. However good you think those guys, at least
coaches and quarterbacks than Tom ever dealt with. So I agree with that.
I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not going to guarantee it, but I'm not willing to be like it's unfathomable, like some sort of alien attack.
Yeah. Look, I'm not going to say that he will never win another Super Bowl. I'm not willing to say that. I am with Wilds in the sense of it being on the board that he will go through a drought. Like, for us to almost assume that because of the 7-year run that he's had, and it's been fantastic, we've never seen anything like it.
Thank you.
That's
a critical line. We've never seen anything like it.
We've never seen anything like it. And to think it's just going to continue the same way at the same rate, that's just hard for me to even wrap my head around that.
But it doesn't have to continue at the same rate.
Right.
It has to go from the best run ever, the best 7-year run ever by a player to not even 10% of the success. That's what it has to be. And that's the problem. And the problem with those 2 comps is twofold. One is, in Peyton Manning, is a guy who from the first moment of his career struggled in the playoffs, and in that drought struggled in the playoffs. So that
Nick, I just saw Patrick Mahomes play one of the worst Super Bowls ever.
No, Manny has struggled in playoffs.
No.
But the idea that Mahomes is going to show up and be excellent in the Super Bowl is no longer a guarantee.
I agree with you on that. My thing is that this guy has made the Super Bowl, not the playoffs, not the AFC Championship game, the Super Bowl 5 of his 7 years as a starter. I agree. I do not expect that to continue.
I agree with that as well.
I do not think he'll make 5 of the next 7 Super Bowls. But to think, like, there is no reason whatsoever. He's 29. If he was 35, I'd give it to you. Maybe, but 29.
On the flip side, you have to be willing to say that some superstars are going over.
Yes,
there always are.
Tell me who's going over.
No,
guarantee me who's going over.
No, hold on. I will guarantee you someone is.
Tell
I
me
don't
who.
need to. If I had, I won't guarantee who.
Okay, but
there's
you can see someone going over.
Yes.
You can see Lamar going over?
Yes.
Okay, so I can see Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
I don't think that's ridiculous.
But Mahomes has done so much more than Lamar.
Correct.
As far as winning.
Yeah, and
go ahead, Greg.
I think both things can be true. And I think from your guys' perspective, I can see Lamar or Josh or one of these guys who haven't won it going over a lot more than I can see Patrick Mahomes because of the proof being in what they've done.
One player's better than the other and is in a better situation and has proven it. That this is why I find it illogical. Because I also know you. right now, if someone said, I'm going to give you $1 million, you have to be, if you're right, in the next 10 years, you can pick any player in the league to win a Super Bowl, who would your pick be?
It would be Patrick Mahomes,
Okay,
but I
let
can
me
see
ask,
a scenario where it doesn't
let me ask you another question. If they said 2 or 3 Super Bowls, would it be even quicker that your answer is Patrick Mahomes? If someone were to tell you, crystal ball, I guarantee you, someone wins 3 of the next 10.
I don't know.
And so if someone said,
if you're
I guarantee you, someone wins 3 Super Bowls in the next 10
Who's
years.
it gonna be?
And if you get it right, you get $1 million. Would you even hesitate before you say, I'll take Patrick? Or would you pick one of these guys who you're giving a Super Bowl to as 0?
No, I'm a Mahomes guy, but I'm because I'm entertaining that he doesn't win, and you guys won't tell me who's going over.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.